So, this is the second of my culinary series. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss anything. I spoke about basil earlier. Now I'm going to talk about sage. Do you know that there's over 900 species of sage in the world? 900. And it's native to Central Africa and Southeast Asia, but you can find it in any grocery stores. And it ranges from the leaves, it ranges from grayish, greenish to purple to pink to white. And it's used in several cuisines and it has that beautiful flavor, especially when it's picked fresh and sprinkled onto your dishes. So, this is my sage. And I'm fighting with spider mites because every morning I come out to look at my sage, it has cobwebs on it. So I think I'm gonna move the location of my sage. The sun is out and I'm trying to get it out of my face. So, sage is a member of the mint family, just like lavender, basil, oregano, rosemary. All these are members of the mint family and they're excellent. The flavor is excellent, so it's good to use it in your cooking. Best when it's not cooked down but freshly sprinkled onto your dishes. What are some of the health benefits of sage? Sage helps to fight against bad breath. Yes. So some persons may add it to their toothpaste or it's in mouthwashes. So it's good to fight against bad breath. For persons suffering from those intense symptoms of menopause, sage helps to reduce the severity of these symptoms. Sage is also good for mental health. There are studies going on right now to see if it can treat Alzheimer's, but these are still ongoing, the research. So it's proposed to help prevent the onset of Alzheimer's. Sage can be used in essential oils or candles, and it has this calming effect. My favorite, one of two, I have two favorite scented candles, and one of those two is sage. So, this sage and citrus, this is my favorite scented candle next to fresh linen, and it smells so good and it has a good calming effect. Like basil, sage is good for your cardiovascular health. It is packed with antioxidants that helps to reduce free radicals or eliminate free radicals from our body and helps us to age better. Sage is also known to give you good skin, and it also helps to boost the immune system and fight against infections. So these are just some of the few of many health benefits of sage. Don't be afraid to prune your sage. Now, do not overwater your plants. What I do, some persons say sage and basil loves water, so try to not let the soil dry out. I tend to listen to my plants, and I try to understand the psychology of my plants, if it makes sense. So by studying my plants, I know when to water them. I've not watered my basil, which you saw in a previous video, and now my sage. I've not watered them for 3 days, and I think they're still looking good. So I tend to study the psychology of my plants and listen to my plants. Don't be afraid to prune your sage. So I am going to prune my sage, and again I'm going to dry these because I have no need for them now, but it's pruning time, and the more you prune your herbs, the more they grow. So this is my sage again, and I'm going to prune it down and then add it to my basil. And I think I'm gonna do a mix. So I've pruned my sage. When you're pruning your sage, you want to clip the bigger leaves off. That's how you prune them, so that the smaller leaves will eventually become mature and form bigger leaves. So this is all I got. And the smaller leaves will now grow to bigger ones. Let me show you. So these had big leaves, and I just cut the leaves off, the bigger leaves. I don't know if you can see this. So these two had big leaves, and I cut them off. I'll take this one off too, so that these smaller leaves will become as big as this one. And that's it in this series, my culinary series number 2. Next up. So I mentioned sage, but I did not show you my pineapple sage. This is another type of sage, and this is called pineapple sage. So I showed you my clary sage. That's the name of the one I pruned. And this is my pineapple sage. I pruned these earlier, if you can see where I cut. So these I pruned them down, and they're growing nicely. These are a couple years old, and here I have a clary sage growing beside pineapple sage.